Welcome to a very, very special episode of the POWWer Hour. I'm Steve. C-Red, Rion, and Rachel will be joining us later, but we are going to kick this off because we're super excited. Joining us tonight, a man, I mean, you hear the term icon a lot, but it really does apply here. What a storied career. Please welcome POW owner, wrestling legend, the one, the only, Jim Blaze. Hello, Jimmy!
What's up, Steve? I really appreciate that intro, too. I just don't look at myself as an icon, legend, any of that. Just a guy who's been lucky enough to do this for 33 years.
33 years. That is 3 decades plus 3 years extra. That's a long time to do any damn thing.
I would agree. I mean, you've been married for a while, so you understand. I'm married to wrestling.
It seems to drag out as time goes by, admittedly. So 33 years, you've been in that. That's a long time. How did you get there? What started you on a journey that would take almost 3.5 decades of your life?
Being a fan of world-class championship wrestling, and my best friend at the time, we were like 14. He loved WWF, so did my sister. And we ended up going to a live show at the Rosemont Horizon, now the Allstate. But as I've told other people, Rosemont Horizon, Allstate, it's always going to be Rosemont Horizon. You
Always
can
the
understand
Horizon.
that.
Always.
Yes. So as we fast forward, I'm going into my senior year, and there was a guy, Medler. He was a little black guy, and he sat ringside every show. So we thought he was part of the show, but come to find out he wasn't. He was just a huge fan. He would hold up big ladies' underwear, signs to rip on heels, anything to draw heat and make people laugh. So he approached me and my friend. We were 5'5", 350 at the time each. And he gave me Sam Acero's number and thought that I should try and reach out to him. So I did, and my best friend did not. He chose not to. He is a district manager for White Castle, making more money than I ever have with pro wrestling. So he was smart, but what story in itself of how things went. But I was underage, so thank God my Blaze agreed to sign the contract with Sam Acero. And years later, she told me she didn't do it for my love of wrestling. She did it because I was an overweight child, and she wanted to better me. And gotta love my Blaze.
Ma Blaze is well documented all over social media in your travels. I kind of followed the Ma Blaze saga. And that's a redeeming quality. Any young man that loves their mom, that's got to be a good man, right?
Oh, dude, I love her to death. You value her every day you can with it. But it's cool. Now it's not just her supporting me; she supported everybody. When we ran the You Better Work Pride show, she does not come to shows anymore because of driving disabilities, and she made sure to be whatever. And
well, you know what? Your live shows are something of a amazing time. You got to see POW Entertainment live. It really is a spectacle. And we're going to talk a lot about POW Entertainment as we go forward, because like I said, for a promotion that's been around as long as POW, it just seems like the best is yet to come. As you know, not only do we have Rumble in the Harbor this Saturday, but you're starting to hear talk. The Idle Whispers heading to November as Wrestle Rage 21. 21 of these things. 21 Wrestle Rages. That's a lot. That's a lot of rage.
It definitely rage, and there was even psychotic rage during some of that.
Oh, we're going to talk about the psychotic rage. I've got questions about that, as you well know. And there, of course, is the urban sensation live from his car. It's the typical wrestling car promo.
I don't see him yet.
He's still figuring himself out. That's what he does.
That took me a while, so
it might take a minute. So you saw it at the Rosemont Horizon. Sam DeCero, that is a C Red story too. So many people that I have worked for and respected have Sam DeCero as the godfather. You listen to Terry Allen talk. You listen to Hunter Payne talk. You listen to C Red talk. So many people owe so much to Sam DeCero. But I hear Sam, it wasn't always the easiest guy to get along with.
Not at all. He did it right though. Back in that time, it was take this person's money and teach them, but also at the same time make them want to leave this business. To see who would stick it out. And
only the strong survive, right?
Correct. And it's so like that in a lot of places, but not how it was. There's more of a brotherhood and a family in all these companies. And I don't go to everybody's training. But you got to think like, all right, I pissed you off, Steve. You're going to leave and you're going to go to another school. And I went through the heartache of wanting to be a pro wrestler at 17, way overweight, and a little smoker. And Sam DeCero tried everything to make me quit, but he made me tougher at the same time. Finally, when they moved from Irving and Harlem down to, God, C Red would know. When he moved to almost Indiana, that became a headache. I wasn't feeling that I was getting anything out of Windy City. And I decided to leave and take time for myself, figure out if I really wanted to do it. And during that time, Sonny Rogers, I've told all my students, you owe it to Sonny Rogers for leaving Sam DeCero and starting PWI back up. Because without that, I wouldn't have continued wrestling, I don't think. Maybe I would have went back to Windy City, who knows. But I was out of wrestling for 6 months out of this 33 years, and Sam DeCero was business, and a great businessman, a great teacher to many. My teachers were more Sonny Rogers, the Dream Warriors, Framer, and Brood, and even Untouchables, Buster and Ice, and they weren't trainers, but they taught me how to take my licks because on Saturday mornings they come in, barely anybody was there, and they beat me up. I took a pilot driver from them, scared shitless, and that became my finisher for a long time. And I owe that to them. And the charisma, that's like a Screamer and Brood were always two guys I looked up to. And when I was younger, the screaming, that was Screamer. The haircut, that came from Brood. The goatee, neither of them had the goatee, but
that's your own. You had to throw in your own flourish.
Well, if you want to say the goatee, that could be the Untouchables because they were badasses with the goatees. So, all those gentlemen I just mentioned, including Sam DeCero, I've had the honor of putting into, we call it the POWWer Hall of Fame, and those were people that set my journey, so to speak. But if you ever meet Sonny Rogers and you're a fan of POWWer Entertainment or Jimmy Blaze, tell them thanks for continuing on after leaving Sam and reconnecting with Terry Joel.
I've always enjoyed the stories when we have people on this show. They talk about their wrestling experiences, but they talk about the relationships and the brotherhood and the family feeling. And it sounds like when you went from Windy City and got with Sonny, you got refocused and repurposed, and that kind of set you on an arc that lasted 33 years. That's a lot of years.
You said 3 decades plus 3.
Three decades plus 3. Absolutely. Hell, that is especially in a combat sport. That is an incredible amount of time. And I've seen you wrestle lately, taking all the licks of people much younger than you. The match that jumps out in my mind is the body bag match. I mean, that was tough stuff.
It actually was. And I'm going to shoot here. You look at Hunter Payne, that's a big man. And with the war that was going on, you knew the two of us were going to eventually have to face each other. With attack from behind and attack in front. And when that body bag that match was thrown at me, I went, yeah, okay, sure. When you get in the ring with Hunter Payne, there's a reason his last name is Payne. And it was an interesting match. I only got the opportunity to be in the ring with Hunter twice. Once was him and Austin Roberts against Matt Blake and myself. And that went down as one of my favorite matches. For never being in the ring with those two, all Mitch kept telling me was, just wait, you're going to have a blast. And I did. Austin Roberts, phenomenal wrestler. Wish he still did more. I know he does Dreamwave here and there. So now this angle, shoot, warrior, war that goes on, it leads to me in Hunter Payne. We're in the body bag match. He shoves me in the body bag, and I'm covered in blood already.
I remember.
And, so the bag gets zipped up, and at the end, my guys, it was Scott Spade, meat hooks. I forget who else. All I remember is when that zipper got opened and Spade reached in to pull me, he said, "You feel like a furnace." And let me tell you, I felt like I was dying on a beach somewhere. It was that hot in there. So, plus, Shaban's, that building was hot because it was full. Plus, you have no air conditioning.
Right.
And it was the end of September, and it happened to be, I don't know, 80, 90 degrees.
Shabance is like a sweat box in the late summer, early fall, when we have these big shows. And when you get 100 people in that building, it just amplifies the heat. And I wear a suit 90% of the time. It's hot. You definitely feel it. And body bags aren't designed for living humans. When you go into the body bag, you don't care if you're hot because you're dead. So that's you had the unfortunate experience of sweating in a body bag.
There's a story out there from Max Holiday saying that he couldn't believe I was in there for 7 minutes. It didn't feel like 7 minutes. It felt like a long time until my guys came out. But, somebody should go back and watch the tape and see if that was accurate, if that's on there.
Well, I remember watching from commentary, and when you got zipped up in that bag, a significant amount of time passed before the POW superstars came to rescue their general. So I would not doubt if it was 7 minutes. And Max Holiday is usually pretty reliable when it comes to the information.
Well, the man knows his time, right?
He never runs over that Max Holiday. That's one of his true gifts in the business.
That maybe a Hunter Payne a rib that I got stuck in there extra time so he could celebrate.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think Hunter celebrated a little too much. But that was the war lasted for a long time, but it showcased many memorable moments over the span, both at POW and at SCW. I remember the POWWer House show. Where it was Team SCW, Team POW, when the bridge started to be built to Unity, where we kind of are now. I had never seen wrestling at POWWer House, and what a spectacle that was. That place was jammed to the rafters with human beings. The crowd was on fire. And one of, in the 10 years, I'm certainly not 33, but in the 10 years I've been doing this, when I walked in the ring and faced off with Riccolo for 38 seconds before I went up to commentary, was one of what I was the most nervous because that crowd, it was a hostile crowd. They certainly didn't like me. But it was that moment in
No,
time.
you were the enemy.
Huh? It was,
I said you were the enemy.
I was the enemy, and I thought Riccolo was going to deck me because when I got to Sutton, he didn't know I was there, and he turned and looked at me, and he coiled. I thought he was going to knock my lights out, which would have been great. That would have been hilarious and memorable, certainly. But POW Entertainment just has that ability. I remember when the SC when we were at I think it was Fox Lake, the SCW were in the back waiting for our time to strike, and we came in and the whole thing exploded, and there are fans swinging at me as I'm getting run out by the POW Entertainment guys. I mean, those POW Entertainment fans, they love their shit, man.
Let's think about it early on down at your back, Steve. I got a verbal from Hunter Payne to the crowd. Please help us take out the trash.
I remember
the entire building, and Steve
was like
was in that ring too. It literally, they surrounded us, backed us out that front door. Thank God for meat hooks being in front of me because somebody threw a chair at me.
I remember that.
It grabbed me in my elbow, and they were trying to push through the other door. I tried jumping over meat hooks, and he picked me up and carried me out of the building. But I mean, fans are fans; they're going to choose their side. That got to the point where it was right up in front of us, and anything could happen, and anything did. But we got out of there before it got ugly.
Yeah,
and it's cool to have fans involved and whatever. That could have been really ugly.
it sure could have, and I thought it was going to get ugly there for a long minute. But then peace was achieved, and now in Shabance, when Jimmy Blaze comes out, he comes out to cheers. Come to Steam Hollow.
Yeah,
those fans love you. It's a complete 180.
Well, the same can be said about Hunter Payne here at POW. You brought up Robert House and Russell at age 20, and that place being packed, and it was a special night for all of us. That match, there was so much attention on, but by the time we got to that match, the crowd there had seen so much, they didn't know what to expect. And at the end, it was Hunter Payne's brother-in-law, Austin Roberts, making the final 3 count. He also is the reason that the handshake happened between Hunter Payne and Jimmy Blaze a month later. So you go back to it, Austin Roberts, in my opinion, one of the most underrated human beings and wrestlers in this area.
I met him one of the good guys. I met him for the first time that night, and he was a very, very nice person. Talked nicely, gave me a few minutes of his time. It was pretty cool. That whole thing, the whole POW War, it seemed to last for a long time, but what great character development, what great storylines. It had everything you want in a rivalry.
Absolutely. It could sound weird, but it also gave me an opportunity to tag with Scott Spade and be managed by Tiny and Mistress Misery. And Scott Spade, as you know, is one of the best out there in that ring and one of the best psychology in the business. And a lot of people don't know this. That's one of my former students. I've gotten to do a tag here with Ruff many years ago. Thunderfoot, which is a different character now. I don't want to expose who it is, but Chris Cairo, all these guys that you've heard over the years, Scott Spade and Jim Blaze, 2 biggest rivals in the company's history. We were tag team champions of SCW because of the war.
Quite a while. I mean, you guys held those belts for a hot minute, so that was a pretty epic pairing. And it just goes to show you that, when war happens, your enemy is your friend. The enemy of your enemy is your friend. and you guys made that dance, and then you got back to your heat. So you and him have heat again, and they say the beat goes on.
Well, in that, I got, what is he, a 6'4" or 5", 320-pound hunter pain next to me.
Yeah.
I'll take that any day.
Oh yeah,
That man,
Cowboy and the
one of
psychotic Jimmy Blaze. I mean, that
one of the best.
don't bet against those two. Don't bet against them at all. How did POW start? I mean, you were a wrestler. I want to know the origin story of POW Entertainment. 21 wrestle is 33 years in the business. That's a long time for anything to happen. POW is one of the oldest, most storied promotions. Talk about the early days of POW. Why did you start it, and how did it get there?
So, as I said, I left Windy City, take a break to figure out, am I going to still do this or am I done? And Sonny started back up PWI, which was Pro Wrestling International. I went with him. Rick Knight went with him. And it just seemed like a lot of people kept leaving Windy City. God, Billy Joe Eaton, Danny Dominion, Ace Steel, Trevor Blanchard, the Dream Warriors left, the Untouchables left. It was like a mass exodus, but it never affected Sam. Sam always kept getting more suits. So it wasn't like these people leaving detrimented Windy City. As we all know, Windy City was around for a long time. Pro Wrestling International became PCW. And that was when Sonny was getting a lot of students, a lot of good people. And Rick Knight brought the idea, why not incorporate, start a company of our own, because Terry Show did own Pro Wrestling International. So Sonny agreed to it. I think it started with maybe 6 or 7 of us doing PCW. And that being like Rick Knight, Wally Wild, Sonny, P.L. Myers was in that. Myself, Dave Storm, John Burke, and Fabio TK. So I don't know. I'm not good at math. So as time went on, I ran shows in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, under PCW, and that's where the formation of Acid, Double M, Jay Jensen, Maverick, Braun the Lumberjack. There were bonds coming between all of us, and it was unheard of that 2 companies in Illinois could work together. So we started some cool there. It didn't last forever, but PCW, we did Rebirth in Melrose Park. 800 something people were there. Billy Corrigan was in the crowd. He is friends with P.L. Myers, so he was there. Sandman was there, and Bill Alfonso. And that was in 2001. In 2003, Dave Storm had already left. He incorporated to start his own company, Classic Championship Wrestling. That was CCW. I was friends with him. A lot of people don't know, but his dad is married to my mom.
Oh, wow.
That came from the friendship between the 2 of us. We were that tight. And Rick Knight was part of that as well. But when Dave left, Rick cut him off. As time went on, I would still hang out with Dave. He was one of my closest friends. And I got an ultimatum from PCW. It was either I'm with them or I'm going with Dave. And I said, you're telling me who to choose my friends. Well, I don't like ultimatums. I'm going to go with Dave. So I did. And PCW was this little thing right here. It's a big part of my life because by leaving, Rick Knight was my best friend at that time. And when I left, it was like crushing that I had to choose between friends. Wally Wild and I still stay in touch, and to this day we talk here and there. Wally, I love. Rick and I have rekindled Um, so 4.5 years in to CCW, um, I'm doing a lot. I'm doing postering, helping train. And let me tell you one thing about training with CCW. We ran 6 days a week training. And it was Dave and I, and everybody asked how, like Justin James, Rough Crossing, Canoa, Cairo, Spade, how were they that good? And honestly, it's because they were there every day for 3 to 8 hours, and they busted their ass. Um, it gave them a place. It also gave me and Dave something to do, you know, a belief and passion. So as time went on, Dave and I started butting heads, and a lot of the students and roster were ready to leave. So I knew that if I left, I'd have to incorporate a new company. I didn't want to give up pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling. So I incorporated, before Dave even knew, POWWer Entertainment, purely obsessed wrestling world entertainment. And it was going to be superheroes come to life and supervillains. It was going to be comic book type kind of thing, which it did. When it first started, it was. I told Dave, I forget the exact time date. It was before CCW was 5. So let's say right around the 5th year. I told him I was leaving, and he took a checkbook and gave me everybody's payday at that show and said, "No, I'm going to leave." And from that point on, it's been POWWer Entertainment. So it's a long-winded story, but hopefully you got your answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, you always wonder how and what prompts a promotion to start. You also wonder what causes them to end. Now, it's funny, and listening to you talk about PCW, Rion, who is driving through Missouri, trying to put up pictures. He's got that picture of you coming through the POW curtain on right now. Rion was a champion at PCW for quite a while there, and I broke.
And do you know who his manager was, Steve?
It was the lovely I know her shoot name. What do they call her? Jenna Monroe. The lovely Jenna Monroe.
Yep.
Who I see all the damn time.
She's actually going to be marrying one of my students too.
So there you go. And I've had him. He does a little bit of commentary once in a while at SCW, but it's really cool that Jen is still there. When I first broke into the business in a commentary capacity, my first job was doing commentary for PCW. Right at the end, I did the last 3 shows at PCW, and they had the December show where Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was there, and I was
just going to ask if you were on that.
I was there, and I've told this story 1,000 times. The main event was Heisman versus Capri, and they were on the scaffolding, the balcony at the facility we were at, and Heisman threw Vic off the balcony, threw 74 tables to the ground. Now, Vic tells me it was only about 3 tables, but every year, every time I tell the story, I add one, and Vic hates it. He's like, "Will you stop fucking adding tables, man? It wasn't that important." But to me, it was fantastic. But my time at PCW was very short, but I met a lot of people. And, because I met these people there, I got to continue later on when another promotion formed. So PCW, we have that in common, which I did not know, which is great.
Yeah.
So
that was one of your founding fathers of PCW.
I know. Without you, I wouldn't have had anywhere to go, which is fantastic. But I remember
there were so many people helped with that company. I mean, Jim Jesus was even an owner at one time. Before he started AEW.
And Rion every now and again will tell us stories about things that he did there in his championship reign and such. So PCW is well represented on this show. So you have been a tag team wrestler of the highest regard for a great many years. You've been in some really legendary. What you're doing right now with Eric Freedom, you guys were champions of POWWer Entertainment for a long time.
We were. partner that I've ever had. There are so many memories, and each one in its own way was a blessing and helpful to who I am as a character in the ring. But Eric Freeman is my BFF. He's my best friend, and we're both like coming to the end. He has CTE. It'll be done in December, so will I. So Revolution is a tag team. We also had GQ with us, and we held those belts. I want to say a year and a half between the three of us. It wasn't like me and Eric held them that long. It started as me and GQ, then it went to me and Eric. So it was probably like a split because GQ was going to get a singles push, and you know, Mitch Blake, and a lot of people have their own opinion of the man. He and I have had our battles. So many road trips, so many funny stories with him. Just to tell you, like, you read about the Freebirds and them loving Jack Daniels. That was psychotic rage. We would go into Durbin's on a Friday night and drink Jack and the Rocks to the point where the bottle was empty. And then it was the following week, screw just Jack, we're going to go to the Gentleman. And we're killing bottles and we're killing ourselves at the same time. Somewhere over that we have fallen out, and it sucks because there are so many posters that Cheats just gave me at the last SCW show of me and Mitch working for BCW up in Wisconsin, and that's where a lot of memories came from. We did some here in POW, a little bit when him and Braun ran. It was a division about before GPW.
Right.
And just a road trip. John Bach working for IWA. We were going way down there. Joey the Pitbull Cheech was another tag team partner of mine, and he's one of my closest friends. We were out of control with Terry Allen and Sandra D. And that was no bullshit, man. That was when Terry jumped from Sam and came with us. That was big news. And I was happy he did. Here's the weird part. I thought he was in Windy City forever. He worked for POW Entertainment longer than he did for Windy City.
Wow.
Yeah, Hunter Payne just told me that a couple of weeks ago. So you had Rick Knight. Rick Knight was one of my tag team partners. And you go all the way back to the 90s. You had him on here earlier, Alex Mana. And we were in Click MOB, so it was me and Tommy Capone. And Capone and I, we went a lot of places too. Back then, it was like MOB for life. Now it's like MOB, we're all getting old and banged up, and there's Vince. Rebirth of himself.
Yeah, Vince is on a resurgence like you would not expect, and he's doing great work, and you got to love him. And that's one of the matches that's actually signed for Wrestle Rage 21. You've got Terry Allen with his lovely valet taking on Koalak Samana, and that is just that match is gonna season. Oh, it's gonna simmer over the next few months. And when that happens at Wrestle Rage, God have mercy on everybody's soul.
See how I set you up for that introduction? I gave you Terry Allen, and I talked about Koalak Samana, and here you are.
You're making it too damn easy for me. You're making it too easy. I see Red. Red is now here. Red has gotten back home, and he's here with us. And he hears you talking about Windy City, and he's got this big smile on his face. So, Red, say hello to Jimmy.
What up, Jimmy?
See, Red, how are you, sir?
I'm in a better place. I'm in a better place right now. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Happy to see your face and that you're at home.
Yeah.
And I see that poster. I've never seen that poster behind you before. I love that.
Which one?
The wrestler. The wrestler.
Yeah, it came straight out of the theater. I bought it off of auction. when the movie came out. So um,
One of my
it's
favorite movies.
it's mine because a lot of people, it doesn't tell the entire story of independent wrestling, but it gives that story of someone who was in the limelight for so long and they can't just walk away from the business. And a lot of people don't get what we sacrifice, a lot of times. They don't get that uh, you know, because we love this so much, we put, there are birthdays we miss, anniversaries, and hell, a lot of people don't understand, this ain't the business, to be married in, uh,
Yep.
it happens, for different reasons. Whether it's backstage shenanigans or what have you. Yes, and that's putting it kindly, Steve. Yeah, it happens. So for me, it was one of those movies that I was like, I was like Rocket Randy, if I know I'm about to die, if I'm going out, I'm going out all the way. Ain't no, I'm gonna jump off the turnbuckle one more time. And, hey, whatever happens, happens.
And you're still killing it, cigarette. You're still killing it. Every time I see you, you look as young as you did when I met you.
Stop lying, Jimmy. Stop lying.
You got a little gray, but I'm not bullshitting you. Like, I know what you're talking about. When you don't want to walk away from it because you enjoy it so much. And I told you that when I saw you in Tinley. Like, I'm so happy for you right now, getting opportunities. You deserve those. And no matter how late in life we get them, take them, run with them. And that's that poster behind you. Like, we're all in this brotherhood together. And Steve said he's only got like 10 years. In another 20, he'll still be doing it because I know he loves it. It's who we are.
Probably true.
Yeah, and my eyes got big, Steve, not because of the Windy City mention, but that him and Eric are both calling it quits in December.
You ain't calling it quits in December.
And
I'm not believing your lies anymore, pal.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. NWA, you lying sack of shit. You ain't, come on.
Until I get a contract in my hands, Steve.
Well, I'm sure Billy's going to watch you tonight, right?
Well, hell, Billy was there.
Maybe we should start a petition. Start a petition and get everybody to sign it. So you are not signed yet, but you're still working for them?
Come on, Red. You got to get on that, man.
So, again, tonight was my last, as of right now, TV appearance. Unless I'm contacted otherwise and they want me somewhere else, But I said in one of my posts, even if this is it, this has been it for me, I told people when we did TV, we did those tapings. I haven't done those tapings since Windy City, and Sam having you up, for 4 hours, and that was just the actual in-ring stuff. Nobody grasped the concept. Right. The truck got to be there by noon. We got to load the truck. We got to put everything in the truck. We got to get the truck to Rolling Park. We got to unload all this stuff, put it all up. We still got to go flyer. Like, really saying, why are we flying? Like, why? Like, the people don't know about that. Like, the commercial's been running. So, come on, man. But you still running flyer. You try to grab something to eat. And then you're sitting there like, okay, I'm not on this episode. So we're just sitting here. Oh, we're in episode 3. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Okay. then you got to wait, and you guys were already gone. But then for us, the vets leave, and now everybody else is like, okay, well, now we got to tear all this stuff down, load it back in the truck, drive the truck. So you're not getting home till 2 or 3 in the morning. And it's like, shit, is this what a TV taping is like? Like, it can't be.
Did they have you loading the truck at NWA? Is that what you're saying, Red?
You know what? Thank God they didn't. If they asked, I would have helped. I would not.
I know you would have. I know.
I would have not. But that's who I am, because that's how I was brought up. If they would have said, hey,
Absolutely.
We need all hands to do this. Okay, I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful experience, great opportunity. Again, if it happens again, like that would be one of the things that if I'm contacted saying January, hey, come do TV tapings. Yes, I'm coming to do TV tapings. I don't have to take a bump. I'm like, I just go out there, look cute, cut a promo. Hey, that's it. I'm good.
Yeah.
But definitely in-ring stuff, no. My body, I'm just feeling back to normal in some aspects. And that's how I want to finish the rest of my life, trying to be normal, and not getting up every morning with aches and pains. And, I still have to go teach my kids on Mondays, so I don't need to be hobbling in, and everybody, you must have had a match. You must have had a match. That's the embarrassing part when I have to walk into work on Monday and I've got Renee and Flash and they're like, yeah, old man, you shouldn't have did that. Now you got other people around talking about, oh, you had a match, huh? Stop. Just let me do what I do on the weekend and be done with it. But I'm satisfied with my decision. Am I gonna miss the boys and miss the camaraderie? And yeah, it's not like I'm dying, so it's not like I won't be seen. I just won't be seen every show, every weekend.
We just don't like our heroes to leave. We don't like Jimmy Blaze to leave. We don't like C-Red to leave. We want our heroes to live forever.
I'm not leaving yet, Steve.
Oh, I don't know. You goddamn right you're not leaving. Wrestle Rage 21, man. Can't wait to see what you're doing at that one. I know you'll be doing something.
Hey, man.
I'm interested to see what I'm doing, too.
I put it like this, Steve. If you've never been to a Wrestle Rage, you should go.
I was there last year. It was amazing.
Oh, okay. Because my first, Jimmy invited me, was it 19? It was 19? Wrestle Rage 19. Right. And so I didn't know what to expect. So I saw a handful of people at first. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And then the next thing I know, when I peeked through the curtain, like every chair is like every chair had a wild, crazy face. Like there was nobody in the audience just sitting there. And I was like, wow, this is totally different. Like you can feel the energy. And then even in the back, if you tuned everybody out, you could hear how loud the crowd was. And that was the year Jimmy inducted Sam into the POW Hall of Fame. So Jimmy had all Windy City guys go out. And I never would have thought that they would have gave us a standing ovation. I never would have thought. And it was like, you've known most of the guys from POW, but from Windy City, most of these people didn't even know we were around. So it was like, for them, like that's the night I fell in love with the POW Nation. That for me did.
Like, they love their product, and that's what I love about it, because The fans are so passionate. The shows have such energy. It's just a thrill to be there. And once I'm done at Rocket Pro on November 4th, I'm driving straight to POWWer House to see the main event, whatever that's going to be. So I'm going to go.
You should, because isn't Rocket Pro like an afternoon show, right?
Yeah, it starts at 5. We're usually done by 8. So I'm shooting right to POWWer House when I'm done, because Wrestle Rage is not to be missed. It really is one of the most exciting events of the year in any promotion. And I really enjoyed it last year, and I'm going to enjoy the end of it this year for sure.
I really appreciate that from both of you. Wrestle Rage was kind of like, not that we had the money like Vince McMahon, but on Wrestle Rage 1, Dave and I lost 4 shows going up to that show. And the deal was, we lose on the show, we're closing the company. And needless to say, we did not lose. And from that point on, Wrestle Rage became like a WrestleMania. You had talked about, let's go Windy City, Battle of the Belts. That was always a draw. And PCW always had Dream Night. It's every company has their little WrestleMania.
SCW has WrestleTopia.
WrestleTopia, right?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And Red, you saying people giving a standing ovation to all you guys. Windy City is known, and wrestling fans do know the history. To be able to be in the ring with all you guys that night was great, because that was the last time Zebra Kid got to be a part of a wrestling show. By giving him the Hall of Fame, the Untouchables, and then Sam is the surprise. And that's been another part of like Wrestle Rage, just having surprises. And the last year's, Steve, I think you got there a little late. We had Rhino. And
I bumped into Rhino coming out of the bathroom. I'm like, hey. So that was pretty cool.
I now that I'm on a public forum, I'm going to get to do this because I actually screwed up plenty of times, and I don't want to keep it the person that I'm about to talk about. I love him to death. I know you guys love him too. But leading up to Wrestle Rage, it was a sellout a month before last year, and sponsor money was all coming in. And one of the people that was sponsoring wanted to bring in a name, and that was always a dream of mine. Like, have that wrestler hidden away, so sold out in indie talent alone, and then drop the bomb. And Rhino was the guy. Rhino and I have a large past. He got me a great deal. And then the other part was he was going to come back in December and face Mac Holiday. So the person that paid for Rhino to come to Wrestle Rage was Mr. Riccolo. And a lot of people don't know that. And I want that out there. He didn't have to do that, and it's not me kissing his ass. He didn't do it to get his boys a spot. He didn't do it to get a room for himself. He did it because he knew it was a dream of mine. So, love you, Riccolo.
Hey, Riccolo, a lot of the way I do my stuff is because Riccolo did it first, and I learned a lot from him. That's why when he guest ring announced at SCW not too long ago, I wanted to show up there because I wanted to introduce the man, because I owe him a great deal. He taught me a lot about ring announcing, about way to carry yourself. He is a guy that is the benchmark when it comes to ring announcing. And he's your guy, and that's one of the classiest things about it. And suits and glasses and style, all that stuff that I did because Riccolo did it first.
First of all, Steve, you missed the most important part: the man's hair.
Oh, well, his
man's hair.
I mean, that goes without saying.
That man's hair is in
Roger 1979 hair, and that's the one I can give. He's the gambler.
But here's the thing with not just him, his entire family.
Oh, everybody.
They are the most genuine people you would meet. And of course, they were at the tapings, and Riccolo just had all of these glowing words to me. and I really felt like I didn't deserve it, you know. But it's like, how can you, like, I'm not gonna tell the man, stop, stop. Like, you know, I'm going to respect him, and you know, but it was like, dude, I tell people even to this day, I'm just a kid from the South Side living his dream. That's it, you know. But him and his wife always have something kind to say. They're so they not just they don't just talk to you, they listen to you, they give you advice, and not just about wrestling, but other stuff going on. And it's like, oh my God, like I would, you know, I don't, and this is not to take away from this ring announcing because it's awesome. Hell, I don't even care about that. I just think the world needs more Riccolos, just period. You know, like, damn, we would be in a better place.
You're not wrong. So, Jimmy, before we let you go, and I still have many things I want to talk about, but I don't want to keep you any longer than you want to be here. You talk about
We can do this another time. Do it if you'd like.
Hey, I could talk to you for days about all of these things, but I want to talk about the training.
I made that joke. Sorry to cut you off. I made that joke on Hillbilly Records podcast. Like at the end of 3 hours, and we got the signal of, hey, con, your time's up, right? And I said to Nick, I go, we barely even touched in 33 years. Like, there's so much to talk about. And I don't have a problem coming back on because
we're going to have you.
If we said you're talking about 33 years, we'd all be late for work tomorrow. So
we're going to have you 5 or 6
and
times.
I can't. It's our first day back.
I don't want to hear it.
Oh, I can't.
Wait. I want to talk about your training because I see it a lot on social media. You're talking, I'm going to get something to eat now, and then I'm going to go train the next generation. So I want to talk about POWWer Entertainment and you as a trainer. In 2023, are you training differently than you did 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I know the business has changed and things have shifted. What are you doing differently, but what are you doing the same?
Actually, a lot of what was trained at Windy City, I still teach. When I joined Sunny at PWI, and I'll give you a tidbit here. PWI, a long-haired football player came in with 2 other buddies of his. It was like 94, 95. And this individual became what you guys know as Adam Beers. And I taught him how to ball. And psychology came from everybody that he was in the ring with. When he got his job as coach out in WWE, Adam and I still talk here and there. And he said, you'd be surprised. It's still the same stuff you taught us. We keep our rookies there, our greenhorns, so to speak. And that never left me. Like, continue doing what I'm doing, because if they're doing it down there, that means that I'm doing it right. And I believe in old school values. Doug Simmons, he has been in minutes of my practice because it's in crossing paths with his weight training stuff. And here I am. And one thing he always says to me is how he likes that we still teach chain. I'm never going to stop that stuff. My belief is, don't just drop money to me, show me you want it. So the first day, I'm not throwing you in the ring. First day, you're going to stand on the outside. You're going to learn these things because later in life, you're going to need them too. So I have an old school way of teaching. I'm not so against like the new school, but that comes in time. It's not blap, here it is, nor my ongoing joke with people. Like, I tried a moonsault once and I landed on my head. I'll never do another moonsault, but I can tell you how to get there and how to do it. So, does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. I mean, there's something about the old school ways that are more important now than ever, because you see it every week, everywhere. Somebody gets in the ring that isn't trained enough and somebody gets hurt. And it's usually not the person that's not trained that gets hurt. It's the person working with that untrained person that gets hurt. And, you know, it can look beautiful when two people know what they're doing and have been trained properly. And then it can look absolutely horrifying when things go sideways because they don't know what they're doing. And I've seen it many different ways. And you just wonder if maybe there shouldn't be a handbook so people get the training they need right away. I've been lucky when I have been shown how to do things. Mitch Blake, your former partner, beat my ass in the ring at GPW to train me how to do things. And he spent a lot of time with me, never charged me for it, just had vested interest in me. And at one of our last shows, he and I shared the ring in a match, and just it was a beat down like I've never seen before. There's nothing like laying on the mat and seeing Mitch Blake on the top rope coming down on you with his elbow. It's something that I'll never forget. It's not something that I really like to talk about either, but he trained me to do what I needed to do in that. He trained well, and I had to work for it. And then Rion, who is coming in and out because he's driving through Missouri, has taken me under his wing and trained me to do a lot of things. So I've had different aspects and I've learned different things, but I couldn't get in the ring and I didn't know what I was doing. I wouldn't do it because not only could I hurt myself, I forbid I hurt somebody else accidentally. That's why training is so important.
I agree full-heartedly. And something else, never forget where you came from, because for a long time, I did not acknowledge Sam for a long time. And with running my own thing, it really opened my eyes. Sam was not a bad person. Sam, as I said, was trying to make me quit. Probably did that to plenty of others. And keep the business alive, that brotherhood, that schooling of, if you're going to stick around, then I'll teach you more. But if you're pussy and you run, got the money.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing at all.
The way you train your talent, and you the old way. Hunter Payne does very similar, because I've been to his, and that was when I got got by Hunter Payne, and that will make you realize really quickly whether this is for you or this isn't for you. So you know, the training guys is so important because I watch the sessions, and the sessions start out as a lot of cardio, get more ring, you do drills, and an hour to an hour and a half where you're even doing in-ring work. And I hear a lot of people say, man, when are we going to get to the good stuff? I've always thought that it's do it that way because you're lifting up, getting refreshed on the base before you get in there and do more advanced things. I think that's the necessary way to do it myself.
Yeah. You hit it on the head there, Steve. Now you froze. No, there you are.
Over the years, and you've taught us a lot about storytelling. I can't thank you enough for some of those lessons. Do you think there's enough storytelling in wrestling right now, or do you think that is something that's going by the wayside in lieu of spot wrestling?
You look at WWE. What's the hottest angle going right now?
Well, you got the Bloodline and you got the Judgment Day. Those are the things that are hot.
I barely watch. Okay, I'm an AEW fan. I know a lot of people that are old school be like, "Why are you watching it?" I enjoy it. There are a lot of people on that show that I know, so
I enjoy
that. Yeah, Sky Blue.
She's kicking. She's on her way up the way up for her.
Yeah, and it's 7:45 on a Tuesday night with you guys. But one of my old students is on NXT, and he's the champion right now. So I do watch that, and I don't always get to watch WWE, but I do watch for Adam Pearce here and there. but I can also see all the snippets on Facebook and whatever. The bloodline, that story is phenomenal. That's storytelling throughout, and that everybody doing their part, from Roman to Sami Zayn. Sami, I've always liked, and where's he at now? He's one of the hottest people out there, and that came from his storytelling, their storytelling, and now you have the brothers picking apart. I mean, that story can keep going for another probably a year or so. And how long is Roman going to hold that belt? That's another question. So
not only
I believe story. What's that?
Go ahead, Jimmy. No, I was just gonna say not only that, but I heard during a podcast this morning or a radio show. Nobody has thought about this. Roman is a heel. Normally, it is baby faces that are on top for a long time. Roman is a heel and has been doing this going on 3 years. Nobody is put that out there. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Again, and when you think about it, all of this is supposed to culminate at Mania again this year. Like, when's the last time you've seen the story do that? For almost 3 years, a story just keep going,
No, the SCW POWWer went on for quite a while.
No, but I'm saying, you asked Jimmy what he thought about either storytelling or spot wrestling. Spot wrestling it is what it is. I don't think people like it because they like to go ooh and ah, but nothing will beat a good story. Nothing ever in wrestling. When people ask me about wrestling, I ask them, what's your favorite TV show? And they'll tell me whatever it is. And I say, why? I say, is it because it's got action? It's got suspense. It's got drama. It's got sexiness. And it's got all of that. Wrestling has all the same thing. The only difference is we do it in a ring. We don't get 60 minutes per match to tell the story. We get 6 minutes to get over the story, get you invested, and guess what? You want to see the next part of the story? Come to the next show. That's what it's about.
Oh, you made Jimmy smile on
I
that.
agree.
That's awesome.
That's what
it's all about.
So
that's pro wrestling.
That's pro wrestling. God bless.
And that, the history C. Red has, and the history that Jimmy Blaze has, came from the same place, Twin City. And that's going back to, like, I started in '90. I'm not sure when Red started, but that was storytelling. And I believe Windy City with their TV, they had a great thing. After leaving Windy City, I got to be part of AWF, and that was my TV taping. And talking about a long day, that is a long day. But you look back at that, those experiences and road trips, you can't replace those with your friends, And I'm not even gonna call people friends, really. I have friends right now in wrestling. I have acquaintances, but I also have a huge, huge family and an extended family, and you two are part of that. I'm grateful for being around so many people in this business for so long. And as you started this, Steve, like the icon, the legend, it's not me. My tag partner is the indie icon. I'm just Jim Blaze, but I appreciate it because I know where you're coming from. I just want to see people do well, love pro wrestling, and have fun doing it. And those that aren't, those are the ones that bring down everybody, and those are the ones that leave the business. Leave it for the people who do give a fuck.
I love that. I love everything that just happened right there. Jimmy, we know that time is running short, but it would not be the power hour if
I have 12% left on my phone, just so you know.
we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. It wouldn't be the power hour if C Red didn't give the roses. And Red, I have to believe you have some pretty amazing roses tonight for one Jimmy Blaze. So take it away, my friend.
Jimmy, what can I say? Thank you, first of all. Thank you for paving a way for a kid from the South Side to live his dream. I was there when you wore the fire coat and the hat. You didn't know it, but I was there. And later on, like, I'm gonna be honest, when I joined, all of my heroes were gone. Because I'm, again, not only am I avid Windy City person, but, now I'm expecting to walk in and meet all of you guys. And I talked to Boz, and Boz was like, oh no, they're here and they're here and they're here. And it was like, well, shit. Like, I wanted to meet all of you guys. Like, I wanted for me, I wanted to sit up under your learning tree. But instead I got my ass kicked by 100 pain training. Asshole.
That's many people could say that.
I think all three of us have that in common, huh?
Yep.
Right. But as time grew on, Jimmy, you have been nothing to me but kind, loving, open-hearted, like a genuine guy. And I thank you for that. Again, in a business where, let's be honest, either you're a nice guy or you're just an asshole. Because that's how I'm seeing when you see people now, you're like, nah, you're the asshole. No, you're not. But that's never been you. Even down to our business dealings a couple of weeks ago. You pulled me to the side and we had a conversation, and you didn't have to do that, but you want to make sure I was good. You want to make sure I was good. You want to make sure my guy was good. And I appreciated that, because a lot of times we all say we're about the guys and girls, right? But then you find out, no, it's really about me, and it's not about the collective as a whole. And then you start to be like, well, again, you're an asshole. You're not genuine. You're an asshole. But you're genuine because you didn't have to. Even though we had already talked before that, again, for you to pull me made me love you even more. I love you, Red. I love you. Everybody that I see comes from POW, I know that they've been trained right. And here was the thing that I love most about you that night. I understood one guy wanting to work, but I knew you. And when you stepped in and said, it's not a good fit, these two guys are a better fit. And they might not look like a tag team, but they can work. And that's the difference. Not just going out there and, anybody could go out there and kind of entertain. But can you work? And you put your stamp on these other two young guys. And I was fine with it because I know those other two guys. So I knew they could work as well. But I was like, that's Jimmy being the professional in a situation he doesn't have to put himself in. And I was like, my respect level just kept going up and up and up. That shows the human and the man you are, Jimmy. Every year, I hear you say, it's coming to a close, it's coming to a close. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be sad myself to see Jimmy Blaze hang the boots up. But I get it. But I thank you for every time that, whether I watched Windy City on what, channel 26 or 19? 19. You know, whether I saw you there, hell, before my divorce, I had a shitload of old tapes from Windy City. So, you know, I hate, you know, those. Anyway, Jimmy Blaze was part of why I fell in love with Windy City. You know, you, the Texas Hangman. Hell, I just saw one of them. I don't know if you watched Dark Side.
Mike
Right. I never knew. So to finally see him without the hood on, I was like, shit, yes, we still in this. Yes. But the Hangman, oh my God, forever Christopher Daniels. I will forever ride Christopher Daniels until the wheel falls off. Danny is my ace boom cool. But you guys are the guys. It wasn't the Hogans. I mean, they piqued my interest and I watched them, you know, but to see guys in my city do what I wanted to do, and I pushed it off for so long, never thinking I could. But seeing you guys and going to shows, it was like one day. And Jimmy, you are one of those reasons why I did sign my name to that Windy City contract. And I am grateful and will forever be grateful to you. Thank you for everything you've ever done to help anybody out in this business. That's all you've done. I've never heard you tear anybody down unless they needed an ass chewing. And I've heard that. So, but thank you. You're one of the good ones, dude. So please, you know, hang your boots up, but stay around and keep teaching, you know, because this next generation, they some hard-headed son of a bitches.
Agree.
You know, so again, thank you. I love you. You are my brother. You are my friend. You are my family. Thank you.
I love you. You're my brother and my family too, man. I can't talk too much because I'm gonna get emotional, and you got me a little choked up on a lot of that. But what I did a few weeks ago, a lot of people have come to me on, and I did what needed to be done, and tried to give those people that paid for those tickets, you know, continue to have a good match and good show. It wasn't my job, it wasn't my show, it wasn't your show. But the one funny thing to come out of that, I do remember coming back to you and you were like, it's all set, we're going with those two, we're not changing it. And I said, you're damn right, I'm fine with that. So,
as soon as you was like, no, let me make sure I'm going to take care of this. And then you come back like, yep, that's what you're fine. Because I know if Jimmy Blaze says, this is where we're going, this is where we're going. And again, they went out there and did exactly what they needed to do. They put on a great match, I would consider, with the short time that they, you know, had to prepare for it. So, you know, kudos to them, you know, but again, it speaks a lot about them, but it also says a lot about you that you made sure you put your stamp on them. And I'm sure that made them feel good that we have Jimmy Blaze's stamp of approval, and we're able to do this, and it was like, yeah, okay, great.
I can tell you they did appreciate it because like you don't need thank you or money or monetary, however they say that. At the end of the night, when we were all trying to get out of there, those two guys stayed with me and helped me take down that ring and get it out of there before all the storms came in. So the next day, I booked for Damage Inc. and I was short. Vic Cabri's car broke down. I needed somebody. And one of those two, that was the call I made because payback, you help me, let me help you. And all the nice words you have said and all the nice words Steve has said, the person I am today, I was not always. And there's many stories out there about me being a jagoff and an asshole. PCW, I was. There's no denying that. And part of that was the new people coming in. I'm giving back to them. Like, if you're going to do this, prove to me you want to be here, kind of thing. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. The whole gimmick with Sandman and 62301, I been Sandman. That was something actually that Tony Scarpone gave me for a t-shirt, and it stuck with me, and I used it for my gimmick. And it pissed so many people off in the business, where I have never claimed to be a great wrestler. I feel I am a great entertainer. I can sell, and aren't we all supposed to make that person buy a ticket and come back? Maybe the people coming to see me are not coming to see me do a hurricane run or a moonsault, but they're coming to see me wiggle my fat thighs and say, suck
it. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Entertainment. People seem to forget that's what this is all about. Because if you're not entertaining, if Red's not entertaining, if I'm not entertaining, they're not going to ever come back. They need something to be entertained by to come back. And you can have the prettiest salt in the world, but if you can't entertain the masses, then the best technical skill, it's not going to sell a ticket. It's the people that interact with those fans and give those fans their money's worth. Your fat thighs, as you said, doing the suck it. That's what people want. That's what SW wanted during the war. They wanted to see Hunter Payne kick Jimmy Blaze's ass. They came to see you. And that's—
I wanted to see it the other way.
Well, it happened the other way too. I was talking but that's—
it did happen the other way, but that was if I was wrestling. So
that's it. Quite the war.
I thank Austin Roberts.
Amazing.
But I'm going to lose you guys soon with my battery, but
all right,
I do want to tell you, I am not hanging my boots up. And I've said this to so many people that say they're going to be done in the business and they're retiring. I am not retiring. I am putting my boots away for now because my body is shot. I do hurt several days of my life, but I enjoy what I do. I love pro wrestling. I'm not bitching about it. I chose this path when I signed that contract with Sam Cicero, knowing that in time my body will be damaged. And early on, I didn't take care of my body, so I'm paying for it later on. But I'm going to continue to run POWWer. I'm going to continue to train my men and women that come aboard. I just signed a guy last week at Lakemore Fest to start training 3 days from now. He's a bodybuilder. It's like, holy crap, people still want the old school value, and that makes me feel good. But yeah, those two things, POWWer Entertainment and training, are not going away. And I'm about to lose you because I'm under 4%.
All right, Jimmy, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. You can see POWWer Entertainment Rumble in the Harbor coming up this Saturday night. Silas Young versus Yanni GQ Giannis is going to be probably at your main event. Lots of other spectacle to happen at POWWer Entertainment. Jimmy, we love you. You are a trailblazer. You are one of the best ever. We appreciate you taking time. And I'm coming to get you again when Wrestle Rage is happening because we want to talk again. This is not the last. The POWWer Hour is going to see you, Jimmy Blaze.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And if you're interested in gigs this weekend, it's the Village of Winthrop Harbor. They They bought the show from us. They're trying to do a fundraiser for the park district. So all tickets are through them, rumbleintheharbor.com. So November 4th is Rage, so you better hit me up before that, Steve. I would love to come back on here. And to both of you, thank you very much for all the kind words.
Jimmy, you're the best. We'll see you down the bend. Now get your phone charged and we'll talk to you down the road, okay?
Sounds good, brother. Take care.
See you, Jimmy.
The one, the only Jimmy Blaze. That was fun. Red, thank you for coming tonight. And I was so anticipating your arrival just so you could do what you did, like you do so well, because somebody like him has had a career like you have had. And I just feel like when you're here for these people that have been doing it for such a long time, especially a Windy City guy, when you give the roses mean a lot. And, you know, I can sing the praises all day long, but I'm not Windy City, and you bring credibility to what you just did. So well done, sir.
Oh, well, it's nothing different. But a lot of when we get these Windy City guys, especially the guys that I've watched, that's the difference for me. You know, it's like us having Coco Beware, Hulk Hogan, Sting, or whoever, you know, whoever you idolize watching this business. For me, again, once I got to, you know, once I realized, oh, okay, world class and AWA and NWA and WWF, okay. But then when I found out Chicago had its own wrestling, like I thought, you know, like it was almost like it was dirty, you know, like Chicago has its own wrestling companies, like, you know, what's going on? So to follow Windy City and hell, even LWF and
All the
PW.
Windy City has the LWF, CSW, POW Entertainment. I mean, the branches and PCW, God rest its soul. You know, the branches. I mean, I think even a little bit of the Dreamwave has a little bit of a Windy City flavor from here and there. It's amazing how all the people working today, by some fashion, have a connection to Windy City in some way. And I think that just goes and speaks volumes about what you guys did before to kind of set the table to make Chicago, you know, a hotbed of great wrestling. And, you know, it's no surprise that WWE and AEW love coming here because fans are savvy as hell and they're enthusiastic as hell. So whenever you get to the as Jimmy called it, the Rosemont Horizon or wherever the wrestling show is happening, those fans are rabid because you know, they love their wrestling. One of the loudest things I ever heard in my life was at the old, I think it was called the Allstate at that point. But was when Hogan faced The Rock for the first time. I have never heard anything like that in my life. I could have been standing next to a jet engine. The crowd was just so amped. The building was shaking because it was Hogan and The Rock in the ring for the first time. Half the crowd's chanting Hogan, half the crowd is chanting The Rock. And it was like a force of nature. To this day, I have never seen anything like it. You could feel the crowd in your chest. It was so loud. That's Chicago. That's what you guys established. You know, so that's what's amazing.
I can top your story.
I'm sure.
Because I was at the Rosemont Horizon.
The Horizon. We love the Horizon.
For WrestleMania 13.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Now, Brett comes out and the building goes crazy. Well, first Austin comes out, right? Glass break, and I'm sitting where I can see the entrance clearly. So I see the glass break. I watch him walk out, and the whole place boos the shit out of Austin. There is not one person cheering for Austin. Not one. Hart comes out. Everybody's on their feet. We're yelling, yeah. And as this match progressed, I can hear people starting to change their mind and start cheering Austin and booing Brett.
It's like
And
before.
Dude, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the is happening? And when the match was over, because a lot of people didn't think that, they were like, Austin he didn't submit. He did, people were pissed. So Brett leaves and people are booing and throwing shit at his ass. And when Austin gets up, like the whole building loses their fucking mind. And it was like, I just lived in a moment
that
where history has changed.
Saw the birth of Austin. You saw the Attitude Era.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say the birth, because he had already had it because of the King of the Ring. But I will say that I saw his coming out party.
Absolutely.
I'll say his coming out party where people appreciated Austin. But that's enough of going down memory lane. I know we got some other shows to cover, like this Friday.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover real quick, but God, it was just great having Jimmy Blaze. It was everything I hoped it would be, and I can't wait to have him back. This past weekend, C-Red, it was 2 nights of Wrestle League. I was not at the Friday night show, but a lot of shenanigans happened there that spilled over into Saturday. Do you know your old friend Louis the Wrench has restarted the Caribbean Cartel?
What?
Yeah. The
What
cartel
is wrong with
is now Rozzy and Alfredo, and they took on Adonis Allen and Don Capri. Don Capri is dope, and I'll always thank him for this t-shirt. You know what? I've been in 10 years in this business, and I've bought plenty of merch. Only one human being has ever given me something, and that's my guy, Don Capri. Wrestle League is dope. It's Don Capri. So I got a free shirt from Don back a minute ago, and I appreciate it. So I wear it every chance I get. But it was a hell of a match. Capri and Adonis Allen were a great tag team. But what do you think happened? Yeah, that's right. Louis the Wrench happened, and the new Caribbean Cartel gets the victory. We had royalty in Homewood, C-Red. Do you know who showed up? My old nemesis, the worst case scenario, Joey Jet Avalon.
Now, was that the main event versus Shogun?
That was the Friday night.
So somebody did, Wrestle League did go live for that match, and I stopped what I was doing and watched that match.
And you can't put a price tag on that kind of entertainment. But Saturday night, Jet Avalon was in a winner of a triple threat match. There were 2 triple threat matches putting people together to be for a number 1 contenders match. And the first of the number 1 contenders tournament, I guess you could call it, Joey Dalton, Von Jaeger, and Ewok had a match, a triple threat. Whoever would win would be part of the number 1 contender match. And your boy, Pop, Ewok, walked out of there with the win.
Did you think he wouldn't?
Never. Well, hey, you know what? Ewok, I've said it on the show many times, is one of my favorite characters in the business right now. I love everything that man does, and he showed up and showed out Saturday night. And then in the second number 1 contender match, it was my old friend, Captain Swanton, Motivation Mike, and the Lightning Kid Lat, your partner, taking on Joey Avalon. Now, I want you to picture that match in your mind's eye. Kid Lat and Motivation Mike versus Joey Avalon. It was like two children fighting a dinosaur. And though they made a spirited attempt to beat Avalon, the shenanigans of Motivation Mike, they kind of teamed up to kind of try to take down the bigger guy, and they got Avalon out of the ring for a minute, but then they started bickering amongst themselves, and that gave Avalon enough time to just absolutely destroy those boys. So Avalon moves on in the number one contender situation. So that was a fun match. And Avalon continues to give me shit wherever he and I go, which is amazing.
You already know that.
Huh?
You already know that.
Yeah. And if Avalon is there, you know who else was in Homewood?
So was it Sierra or Evil Sierra?
It was just Sierra, and Sierra's in new gear. She has the platinum blonde hair now, and she's got the silver jacket. So she is made for TV right now. Why she isn't, on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Friday, or a Saturday night on television, I don't understand. But she fought Brittany Kay, who is a Wrestle League product, a young up and coming. Brittany, she did some referee work for us at IPW.
Right.
And turns out she is pretty phenomenal. And she took Sierra both nights to her limits. Now, Sierra gets 2 wins, but Brittany Kay walked out of that ring impressing that entire crowd in Homewood. That match was electric. She gave it as good as she got it, and she was a whisker away from the win. But, Sierra does what Sierra does, and she just wins, baby. But watch Brittany Kay. She is going to be something special, and the crowd really loved her. We had the proven title, Hot Rod Daddy Andy and J.R. Lindsay. They've got a rivalry, and they've been fighting now for a while. And you don't see Andy as a bad guy very often. But in this story, he has become the villain because his 2 victories over JR have been shady, nut shots, bad, dusty finishes. It was no different here. JR, fought the best match I've ever seen him fight. And that's no bullshit. I've seen him fight a lot. I've been on the receiving end of some of his stuff, but
Right.
Seen him and called his matches plenty of times. But Saturday night, I saw him level up to a place, and Andy for that matter too. Both of those guys reached the zenith of their powers, and it was a really, really enjoyable match. Andy gets the win, but boy, I can't wait to see what happens next. I don't think that rivalry is over. The bastard, Rockin' Rivera, took on Shaq Jordan, the generational treasure. And you know what Jack Jordan did to me? Shaq Jordan insulted me.
What?
Oh, know how he did that?
Ow.
He stole my fucking theme music. He came out to my theme song, and PX from JFW was there. And when the music hit, he and I made eye contact, and he's like, "Are you fighting?" I'm like, "Not that I know of." And Shaq comes out to my song. So I think Shaq was just homaging me. He wants to be like me.
So did he know it was yours?
I don't know, but it was fantastic. And the people that were there that know me and have seen me work before, when that music hit, all the eyeballs came to me because they thought I was going to get up in my suit and go in the ring. I'm like, nah, this is not me.
Because I've said it before, because somebody else asked me, and I told them, like, that's one of those things that is never talked about in wrestling. Like who has what theme music. So a lot of times, some people just, if you don't know somebody else, and what they're using for theme music, you're like, hey, I'll use it. And, then one person gets, and it's like, it's music, man. Like,
it's, listen, I'll be honest with you. If Shaq decides that that's the song he wants to come to the ring wherever he goes, I will be happy to go back to my old theme music and abdicate to Shaq, because I think Shaq Jordan is a goddamn lead pipe lock to be a high paid, high profile superstar. There is nothing that man can't do in the ring. Although Rock and Rivera, Nutshot was the theme of the night. There were so many picked up off the ground. Joey Avalon lost a testicle. I believe Disco Ray put it in his pocket. Shaq Jordan lost testicles. It was a testicle frenzy. But a lot of matches ended with foul play. So Rock and Rivera got the better of one Shaq Jordan. And then we come to our main event, which was a direct booking from the night before. Wittek had an open challenge, and Jesus DeSavio took the challenge Friday night. And they wrestled to a time limit draw. Actually, this is not right. I forget how the Friday night thing ended, but Quinn Wittek got the win under shady circumstances when it came to a time limit situation. So DeSafio was awarded a title opportunity the second night. And this match went pillar to post. And I think we've well established here my fascination for Quinn Wittek and sexy violence. I really think he is the guy in the Midwest right now. He has many titles. There's nothing he can't do. And, he really captivates people, whether it's Vlad Blatter at Super Wrestlers, whether it's Creature, whether it's sexy violence. The man is just a talent that can do everything. And DeSafio got to a point where there was a ref bump and the ref was out, and he delivered his finisher, the Gatling gun. And another ref came in from the back and counted 1, 2, 3. But senior ref Christian came to, and right before he passed out, he saw a nut shot that DeSafio gave to Quinn inadvertently, and then threw out the decision. So Quinn lost, but was real on a technicality.
What?
Well, I don't know what that means for the next Wrestle League show, but it's coming up, and I think DeSavio has got a legitimate beef for getting a third shot, because that boy got screwed. So that was Wrestle League. We had a great time. There's nothing quite like a Wrestle League show. We've had many of the kids on this program, and I love them. I think they are really, really the best of what's happening right now. So that's what happened over the weekend. Now let's parlay to what's happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Thing happening Friday night, back on IWTV this month. The shenanigans of that are over. And CSW presents Extreme Intentions. Are you going to watch it on IWTV this week, Red?
As long as y'all don't have no technical issues, yes, I will. That is sad. Now here, as you like to say, and even though we don't do it, but for old time's sake, here's the funny part.
Here's the drink, motherfucker. Okay, go ahead.
Do you know I was looking for it last week? Dude, I was upset. Like, I was trying to find it. I'm like, why can't I find where's SC? Like, where is it at? Like, and I got pissed. And then something was like, because I went straight to the IWTV site. And next thing I know, I had to go to the CSW website or Facebook page. And then that's when I found out, oh, it's next week.
Yeah. You missed me losing my job. You missed Mr. Anderson, who was fantastic. But those of you that missed CSW last month on IWTV, it's back in action this month. And boy, Extreme Intentions is going to be hot. Let's talk a little bit about some of the matches that have been announced. There are more announcements that'll come tomorrow and on Thursday, I'm certain. But a match just announced before the show started. You have got the Pacific Pimp, the Dragon Father.
Now, when did that happen?
Well, I don't know, but have you seen him in his attire? He looks like the goddamn Godfather. So he was the Dragon of the Pacific. Now he's the Pimp of the Pacific.
Dude, I looked at that and I thought to myself, I'm like, why are you ripping me off? Like,
yeah, he's got a lot of red in him. There's no doubt about that.
Like, stop ripping off my gimmick.
Well, I'll tell you what, he may get his gimmick ripped right off because he's fighting big country. He is fighting NWA superstar Cody James in what can only be described as an ultimate hoss battle.
Oh, definitely. And if he goes into this lightly, I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You would think that the Hate Keepers will be running around causing chaos, but last month Cody James had his army with Adam Stallion and Moondog Greg Murray. So if the Hate Keepers do shenanigans, he's got his boys in the back. So we might have a repeat in another Donnybrook.
This is what I really want to see. And you did the best you could, Steve.
The best
so I will give you all your props. You did the best you could dealing with the roster. I'll say that. Now let's see what happens under a new regime. Are they still going to be allowed to run roughshod? Or are they going to be in Steel's pocket?
That's the question. I mean, I don't know what their affiliation with Steel is. That's a bit of an unknown. I guess we're going to find out a lot about that this Friday night. Another match that would have implications, you would think, for the Steel administration is a feature match. You have got the team of Iniestra, the Metro Division champion, and the scumbag attorney, Eric Schultz, taking on the BOZ and his tag team partner, the one, the only, the master of violence or the innovator of violence, Mr. Tommy Dreamer. So I don't know why, if you're TJ Steele, you book that unless you've got something planned. So I fear for Boz. I fear for Mr. Dreamer that there could be an ulterior motive here. I don't know what that is, but TJ Steele is a snake. TJ Steele is a egomaniac on crack. And what he's going to do to CSW will have people missing me, if you can believe that.
But here's the thing.
Is it the funny part?
No, not. But you now have to wonder, have they bitten off more than they can chew?
We'll find out. I mean, there's a lot of things happening Friday night.
Steve, it's Tommy fucking Dreamer.
No doubt.
Like, so do you not think here is my prediction.
Someone's gonna get hit with a kendo stick. That's my prediction.
I'm counting on 3 kendo sticks.
I think you might be right about that. I'll look forward to calling a Tommy Dreamer match on commentary very much. Other matches that have very strange implications, and I'm not exactly sure why. We have our friend Hades X1X, who unmasked himself, revealed himself, and has a strange obsession for Vic Capri. Now, I'm not even sure Vic is going to be at this event. He sustained an injury at the hands of Hades. But Hades has set his sights on a person of interest for you as Hades X1X takes on Mario Pardua, a man that is clearly a member of the ARC.
Not the ARC, Steve. Everybody is not part of the ARC.
Everybody, you said it yourself. You never know how many tentacles. You guys are like fucking Hydra in the wrestling business.
The VIP family. I thought you got that. You understood that.
Family.
There is the VIP family, and then there are other. So
Wait, hang on. I forgot to mention this earlier. I find it ironic that on NWA tonight, that you are dealing with a masked wrestler named Carnage. I just want to get that out there right now. I find if that is your last NWA experience for a while, I feel like that it just makes all the sense in the world.
Whatever.
Moving on. POWWer, ARC, go.
Understand. So the Christmas tree is the VIP family.
Okay.
Right? The ornaments on the tree are the Soul Touchers, the ARC, Team Damn It, Mario POWWer, Mustafa Ali.
That was my fantasy football team name last year, Team Damn It 2.0.
We know, and how'd that work out for you?
That's so great.
Hey, do I get a ring shouldn't I get a ring? Like, I was the champ, so where's my ring or my trophy?
We'll have to talk to the commissioner about that. The league will be starting up pretty soon again.
Just saying. But yeah, POWWer. So here's the thing.
He's the star on the top.
Right now he is.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And I think Hades X1X, whatever you want to call it. He's going into this, and I believe he's going to underestimate Mario. Mario right now is on a hot streak. If you had to put a title to his name, he would be Fast and Furious right now.
Yeah.
He and Hades better not slip up. He's just coming back. And so when you're trying to shake off all that rust, yeah, you did it a little bit last month. But okay, now what happens this month? So you think it's going to be a cakewalk? You think this is the same Mario from a year ago? No. This is a Mario now has a swagger and a level of confidence like I've never seen. I am proud of Mario. He is taking advantage of his time being in the NWA. And Mario learned a lot from the NWA television champion, Latimer. So Hades better not even trip. Mario's going to take advantage. So if you're going to ask me who I'm picking, I'm going to pick Mario. I have to. Because the kid is special.
We're going to find out if you're right this Friday night. Another match that's been announced is the Tag Team Championship match. Team Sexy, Jax Johnson and Ryan Matthews. Our good friend, Ryan Matthews. Say hi to Ryan. We've got all kinds of Ryans happening here.
Right. Everybody's running around with a Ryan.
Everybody's running around with Ryan. Team Sexy goes for the tag team titles versus Big Mood. Now, when I was talking about Wrestle League, I forgot to mention that CSW tag team champions Big Mood showed up in Homewood to take on the Wrestle League tag team champions, the Bro Bros. And it was a great match up until the Bro Bros introduced the vape and gave Mateo some vape and gave Jack Moody some vape, and things just got I describe it like an unidentified flying object. I think I saw something, but I'm not sure what I saw, and there ain't no way I'm going to report it to the flight tower because I don't want that paperwork. But
so was it another Jay and Silent Bob episode?
All I can say is snoogans, but that's neither here nor there. Friday night, Big Mood defends their titles against Team Sexy, and Moody and Mateo have been on a roll. They make one hell of a tag.
Here Here's my whole thing with this entire card, Steve. Is this TJ Steele way of sticking it to everybody you love?
Perhaps. I mean, I don't think that I haven't gone through this card and seen the writing on the wall. He did say he was going to make my life miserable.
And that's that, and I saw that. But then when as matches have been announced, like this one, I remember that you're a big fan and advocate of Big Moon.
absolutely. I'm a Jack Moody guy.
So, well, I know you officiated his wedding.
I did.
So, I'm wondering, again, is this going to be something that TJ Steele throws a swerve, throws a curveball, and they lose those tag team titles?
Again, like I said earlier, anything is going to be possible this Friday night with that egomaniac in charge. Another match that I am very much looking forward to is the special attraction match that sees the leader of the Hate Keepers and your friend Shane Hollister, or Shug as you call him, taking on my guy, the guy that rules ass, Warhorse. Warhorse is going to kill that boy.
Well, here's my thing. First of all, I do love Shug. That's on a personal note. Have you seen Warhorse?
Dude is just all that in a bag of chips.
No, I mean physical wise.
Tell me what's going on.
Dude, this dude looks like he has been living in the gym the last time he was at CSW.
Yeah, he did.
Like, this dude has put on some mass. So, while I like Shug, I'm kind of wary because I think Warhorse, he's one of those people I think feels like he should have had his call up by now. And even though he got called to AEW once, I believe, maybe twice, like, we haven't seen him on TV in a while. And I think he has a point to prove to everybody that's sleeping on Warhorse. So Shug might just again get trampled. But again, this is one of those things I just talked about. You know, I'm going to be honest. I personally feel, and I personally can't be there, but I feel TJ Steele is going to have his hand in every match.
I fear that you are probably right about that, and that'll segue into the final match that's been announced thus far, is the heavyweight title match.
I already know. Again, think about it. You are a huge Marche Rocket fan.
Does Marche call me?
You're his Jim Ross.
That's right. Which is something that I would put on a business card if I had one. Marche Rockets JR. But that's neither here nor there. Yes, I am clearly a Marche Rocket fan. Conan Lycan has had a bit of a change of heart maybe lately because he is not participating as much in the Hate Keeper shenanigans. He is trying to put respect on his name and respect on that title. So he wants to face Marche Rocket one-on-one without help. Now, will help come regardless?
But here's the thing. He doesn't want the Hate Keepers help, right?
Right.
That has nothing to do with Steele. He's not a Hate Keeper.
That's fair too.
So I can see a great match, which I know will be, but I can see Marche, all it takes is all day hitting the M80, and I can see the ref, 1, 2, and here comes Steele and pulls the ref out. Yeah, I can see it.
Hey, that happened. And Nestor and Schultz did that to me to keep me from counting out Steele. Yeah, that's a legitimate possibility.
I can see it. I can see Marche being pissed. I can see Lycan being pissed. They're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And while Marche is still trying to figure out why it's still interfering in his match, Lycan hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I can see. I see this has Let's Screw Steve show written all over. Like, there should be, if I was part of the NWO, I would take a can of spray paint and over every flyer, I would say, no, this is the Screw Steve show.
You know, Red,
everybody that you love is on this show.
Yeah.
Everybody. And you've been vocal about these people throughout the years. So wouldn't it just twist the knife, so to speak?
Yeah.
That every match of somebody you love, somebody you find favor in, he screws.
This is my first CSW show that I won't be general manager at since January of 2020.
You know what you should do?
What should I do?
You should have the faithful of CSW. If after this show, if it goes the way we both think it will, they should start, they should stand outside with picket signs. We want Steve.
Fantastic.
They wouldn't come back in until you are general manager.
How it's going to be, I don't know anything. I didn't make any of these matches. I have no idea what's happening behind the scenes anymore. I didn't even get a copy of the show run time. A commentator doesn't get that until the day of. So I have been relegated to my entry level position. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm happy that I still get to do that and be part of CSW. I thought I was going to be fired. I thought I was done when I hit my third hand down the final time to take the loss. I thought it was over for me. And my last duty was to announce Warhorse and Dreamer. And then TJ said, "Oh, you're not fired. You're still going to do commentary, and he's going to make my life miserable." So everything you said is true. Don't miss CSW. Extreme Intentions this Friday night, Franklin Park. I don't know what the hell's going on, so I can't give you any insight. So I'll see you out there. Before we go, Red, we've got one more part of business to cover, and we can't talk to Rachel about it because she's on vacation this week. The Knockouts return this Saturday night to Homewood. It's Northside versus Southside, and there's some really strange rules going on in this thing. The fans get to pick themes, and the skaters have to do them. I'm not quite sure how this works. I've never seen one of these. They're calling this Wheel and Deal. So if you've never seen the Knockouts before, you should come out. It's Northside versus the Southside. It's not a Rumblers, Punishers. It's not your typical teams. It's Northside.
Whoever lives on Northside versus whoever lives on the Southside.
We got the White Sox playing the Cubs this week, so why not have Northside versus Southside and the Knockouts? It's the first bout back since the summer break. Everybody in Homewood is itching to see the Knockouts again. Doors at 7:15. Showtime is at 8:00. I'll be there. Rabbit Brewing will be there. A lot of the wrestlers will be there. Cactus Rachel will be in attendance, but due to medical situation, she will be ringing the bell. So she'll still be there, but she won't be actively skating because she needs to heal, especially after that whole Jello wrestling incident that we had a week ago. But come out and see the Knockouts. Red, you haven't seen them yet. You got to come out. I'm telling you, once you come out, you'll be hooked. You can come do commentary with me.
One day.
You'll love it. You'll love it. Anyways,
one day.
That's our show for tonight, kids. We want to thank Jimmy Blaze for stopping by and delighting us. We had a great time before C Red got here. We had an even better time when he got here. Rion Skills is driving through Missouri. Why he's in Missouri, I have no idea. But he had trouble with his cell reception, so he kind of came and went. We miss Rion. We miss Rachel, who is vacationing in Michigan this day. Next week, the Power Hour will not be seen on Tuesday night. Next week, we do our show Friday night. And there's a reason we're doing that, because we have a very special guest making her return to Illinois at SCW at Steam Hollow next Saturday night. We will be talking with the one, the only Shauna Reed. Haven't seen Shauna up here since the GPW days. I know she's been at POW a little bit, but she has graciously agreed to come on the Power Hour, asked us if we could do it on a Friday. I don't think Red is going to be here because I think he's out of town. So it might just be me and Shauna if Rion's still in Missouri. I don't know. But it's going to be a SCW heavy Power Hour. We're going to talk all about what's happening Saturday night in Steam Hollow. So if you like Shauna Reed, if you like SCW, tune in next Friday, not Tuesday. Red, if you find a way to get out of it, you can pop on for a while. We're far better with you than without you. I will tell you that for goddamn sure.
Well, we'll see. Again, I'm not gonna make promises that I can't keep, but if things work out, then I will hop on.
Hopefully you didn't miss see Red tonight on NWA, because just the who you're managing against, it is just that is why wrestling is great, because it brings matchups together that just makes sense.
In more ways than one.
More ways than one. For the urban sensation, the icon C Red, on behalf of Jimmy Blaze, our guest, and Rion Skills, who is in Missouri, and our friend Rachel on vacation, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching the Power Hour. We will see you next Friday night. Peace out, people. And here's the funny part, Red. We're done.